Studio de Jeffrey. Thanks for hanging out with me. What we are going to do today is talk about the Cowboys' final 53-man roster and the guys they're slapping on their practice squad and what all this stuff means. Who's with me? Okay, so the Cowboys, a bunch of the names that are going to be on their practice squad are now filtering out. I'd like to shout out the great Michael Gelkin of the Dallas Morning News, who is doing a wonderful job covering all that stuff on Twitter in terms of every player who got released, he would post that along with a video highlight of theirs. And now everybody who's getting added to the practice squad, he's doing the same thing. So Michael Gelkin is out there doing the Lord's work for the Cowboys. If you're on Twitter, I would encourage following him. So we're going to talk about who's going to be added to the practice squad, what that means for their backup quarterback, their kicker, and all that stuff, and the games they're playing. And then I also want to talk briefly about the Jalen Reagor trade. The Eagles just traded Jalen Reagor and compare that to what happened with Amari Cooper with the Cowboys. But first, let me talk about my guys at Bet Online, the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports, contests, and events with first-to-market odds and lines. The Cowboys and Eagles are now dead even to win the NFC East. Find reviews and news for every league. That's MLB, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all your sports information. From live in-game betting, props, and futures, head to BetOnline today and bet on CeeDee Lamb to go over all of his things. Join up today. Make your first sports bet. Our promo code BELIEVE50, BLEAV50, and get your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. They basically traded Reagor for Gardner Johnson. Yes. Thank you for all your content. No, thank you, Daniel Potter. I love you, Potter. Miss you, buddy. We have the dumbest front office in football from Mark on Facebook. Is that another haircut, Jeff? No, that is. I got my hair wet like 20 minutes ago. Okay. So the Cowboys claimed no one off the waiver wire, and no one that the Cowboys cut was claimed on the waiver wire. So they can now bring back everyone that they released to the practice squad that they want, up to a total of 16 guys. And none of them are going anywhere unless a player opts to sign somewhere else or go to another practice squad, which they certainly have the right to. As I said, Michael Gelkin's over here with all of the practice squad guys, or at least most of them. And so I'm scrolling down his timeline, and Malik Davis, the running back that I love out of Florida, he's on the practice squad. Aaron Shampklin, he had a high ankle sprain last Friday. He's on injured reserve, so not on the actual practice squad. The Cowboys are working on bringing in Falcons running back Quadri Allison to the practice squad. Isaac Alarcon is on there. He is an exception. He will always be there. I don't know what the years limit is, but yeah, he does not count against your 16. Cooper Rush and Will Grier are on the practice squad. So here's where we get into the stupid NFL rules. Brett Maher, your starting kicker, is on the practice squad. What does that mean? I'm glad you asked after I chew my ice cube that I didn't mean to get in my mouth. So in the NFL now, the way this works is every week you can elevate two guys from the practice squad to be on your 53-man roster. So for the Cowboys, it would appear pretty obvious that those guys are your starting kicker, Brett Maher, and a backup quarterback, either Cooper Rush or Will Grier. Now, you can elevate someone from the practice squad 3 times before you have to add them to the 53-man roster before you can use them again. So what the Cowboys have done is basically bought themselves time here. Putting guys on the practice squad, they gave themselves 3 free weeks to have 55 players where they can use Maher and either Cooper Rush or Will Grier in that way. Now, there are some dudes that are kind of veterans on the practice squad right now, too. Carlos Watkins, Sean McEwen. And considering you're going to need a kicker and a backup quarterback, I can't imagine that in the first 3 weeks, either one of them would be the guy that's being called up, because you need those 2 things. That's true, Dustin. They do have 6 weeks at quarterback. You could use 3 of them on Grier and 3 of them on Rush if you wanted to do it that way. But yes, they're both on the practice squad. You got them both. Yep. 2 backup quarterbacks. You get 6 free weeks of a backup quarterback before you even have to use a roster spot on one. You get 3 free weeks of a kicker before you have to even use a roster spot on one. So they can play games and keep people around. Malik Jefferson, practice squad. Tyler Coyle, practice squad. Wanye Thomas, the DB practice squad. I told you Carlos Watkins, Aviante Collins, offensive lineman practice squad. Dontario Drummond, wide receiver practice squad. I kind of like him. Alec Lindstrom, the center practice squad. Brandon Smith, wide receiver practice squad. I told you Malik Davis. Mike Tafua, the defensive lineman practice squad. And that's all the names I've seen so far. Once again, shout out to Michael Gelkin, who is the name that I see doing the best work in this space. Obvious need is still offensive tackle. Will they wait until week 2 to sign a vet? Probably. Because again, stupid NFL rules. Stupid NFL rules are that we can play these games with our roster for 3 weeks. And stupid NFL rules are that if you have a guy who is a vested NFL veteran with at least 4 seasons of experience and you sign him before the season starts, then his salary is guaranteed. And so teams like to wait, and the Cowboys might wait until the season has actually started, where that is no longer true, and then sign an offensive lineman. Because once again, NFL rules are weird. Yeah, Maher is still in the practice squad. That's just because of NFL rules, because they know that they can do that because there's no threat for anyone else to sign him, and they can bring him up for the first 3 weeks for each game before they have to actually put him on their 53-man roster. They're just manipulating the roster rules, and that's what smart people do. Although I don't know if calling them smart is going to be acceptable around these parts. The other thing, Jalen Reagor got traded today. I'm okay with beating up on the Cowboys front office this offseason because I do think that the way they handled getting mad at their money with Lyle Collins and Amari Cooper was kind of silly because they didn't really replace those guys. And now you're looking at an offensive line that could be in a really bad spot. Your wide receiver group is pretty iffy. And that just seems like really bad roster management from people who just didn't personally like a couple people. But I got to see Cowboys Twitter's reaction to Jalen Reagor being traded to the Vikings, which is funny by itself because the Vikings front office threw a party when the Eagles drafted Reagor because the Vikings wanted Justin Jefferson and they thought the Eagles were going to take Justin Jefferson. So when they took Reagor, the whole Vikings front office is on video cheering like, ha ha, they took Reagor. And now they have Reagor on their team with Justin Jefferson. But the only thing I wanted to point out is to anybody who's like upset, because the common thing became, oh, the Eagles got more for Jalen Reagor than the Cowboys got for Amari Cooper. I don't understand being upset or mad about that, because who you're really upset or mad about, you're pretending you're mad at the Cowboys, but that's what Amari Cooper was worth. One team traded for him. If another team thought he was worth more than that, they would have given up more, because they would have wanted him. That's what Amari Cooper was worth. At his salary, that player was worth a 5th-round pick to the NFL. Now, if you're like me, you would say, okay, if that's the case, I think he's worth more to have on my roster than to trade away, and trading him away at that price is ill-advised. Like, that's cool. But the idea that it's like, oh my God, the stupid Cowboys couldn't get more than the super smart Eagles got for Jalen Reagor with Amari Cooper. The league tells you what your players are worth, guys. They didn't do some special thing to take value from Amari Cooper. The league knows who the players are. The leagues know what the players make. And the fact that a 5th-round pick is what you got for a good wide receiver means that most of the league don't even want him. So you can be mad at the Joneses if you want. That's fun. You can do that all you want. But anyway, can you go over the practice squad list one more time from Jacob? Sure, but I'm literally just going down Michael Gelkin's Twitter account on this because as a beat writer, he's kicking ass covering this. Malik Davis, running back, practice squad. They're trying to get former Falcons running back Quadri Allison to the practice squad. Isaac Alarcon, practice squad. Cooper Rush and Will Greer. Brett Maher, safety Tyler Coyle, linebacker Malik Jefferson, safety Wanye Thomas, defensive tackle Carlos Watkins, right tackle Aviante Collins, tight end Sean McEwen, wide receiver Dontario Drummond, center Alec Lindstrom, wide receiver Brandon Smith, and defensive lineman Mike Tafua. Those are the names we have so far. Yes. Yes. Once again, Maher is on the practice squad. He also will be kicking for you in week 1 and all year, because that's how the practice squad works now. You can bring up 2 guys per week. You can bring them up 3 times before you have to add them to your 53-man roster. So your starting kicker is probably going to be on the practice squad the first 3 weeks, get called up for game days, and then they'll have to do something in week 4 and put him on the actual roster. There's that. Oh, and the only other thing that I thought was interesting is that they got Malik Davis, a running back, to the practice squad. They have Rico Dowdle on the roster, on the actual 53-man. Okay, I'm going to go backwards on the Cooper thing, because Joshua, I've heard this from a lot of people, and I'll tell you why I disagree. He said you can't allow leaks about player personnel to leave the building. That's the problem. The whole league, hell, the nation knew Cooper was getting cut if not traded. Okay, so what? The Browns, if they know that, call the Cowboys and they say, oh, don't cut him because we want him to come here. So we'll give you something so that we don't lose the bidding war or whatever. We'll actually trade for him. So then the Cowboys know, okay, the Browns want him. So now you call 30 other teams and you say, all right, well, the Browns are going to give us a 5th-round pick for Amari Cooper. Would you like to give us better than that? And 30 teams said, no. So like you can advertise whatever you want. If as an NFL team, you like that player and you want that player, you don't want him to be a free agent because you want him to be yours. And you can only pick one team. So like would Cleveland, a team that liked him, could have been so confident that the whole league hated him and just been like, cut him and then we'll sign him. But you're just one team. He gets to pick where he goes then. If you want him, you trade for him. Like Cleveland did. And nobody wanted to beat that. Jeff, you need to do a video previewing every game and a season record breakdown. We'll do that throughout the year. We'll do every game. We do have college football this weekend, which is awesome. We love that. We love that. All right, was there anything else I wanted to do today? We got the practice squad. Oh, the running back thing. So the Cowboys have one running back on the practice squad, Malik Davis, one running back on the 53-man roster that's not named Zeke or Pollard, Rico Dowdle. And they're trying to bring in a guy from the Falcons to add to their practice squad so that they would have 3 running backs who aren't really going to touch the ball this year. And I just wonder, does that end up confirming for us that what the Cowboys are going to do at running back is Tony Pollard's contract runs out this year? They cut Zeke at the end of the year, and like Rico Dowdle and Malik Davis, they're like, bro, we're just rolling with that. Just a couple undrafted dudes. And would that make me happy as Mr. Don't Pay running backs? Or it's just like, yeah, we'll just throw a bunch of undrafted free agents out there and see what happens. I'm kind of down for that. Who is our reliable swing tackle and reliable backup guard? You don't have one. Thank you for asking. So you're saying there's no negotiating in trades? Come on, man. Sure there is. The Cowboys try to get as much as they could. Other teams try to lowball you as much as they can. And no one wanted to go higher than a 5th-round pick for Amari Cooper. I just don't understand why you guys are. I don't understand. If there is another team in the NFL that wanted Amari Cooper on their team that was willing to give up better than a 5th-round pick, they would have done it. They did not. Jeff, explain why Josh Ball can't. I would like to bring back your Cooper take is bad. Somebody help me. How is the Cooper take bad? My take is the league told you Amari Cooper is worth a 5th-round pick. That's my take. Every team had a chance to beat that offer. Nobody wanted to. At $20 million, Amari Cooper was worth a 5th-round pick. That's my take. Tear it down. Because the way to tear it down would be for somebody to give more than a 5th-round pick for Amari Cooper. And nobody did. Your real take, if you want to be mad at the Cowboys, is Amari Cooper was only worth a 5th-round pick, and therefore you should have just kept him. That's the only other take. Amari Cooper is worth more and the Cowboys are stupid heads isn't a take, because if he were, they would have got more. Yes, if Cooper's contract, if he was making $14 million, he might have been worth a 3rd-round pick. He makes $20 million, and the entire league said, we good. Stop talking about Leatherwood. Yeah, he gone. When are people going to accept you know what you're saying, Jeff? I don't know. They took the first offer just to get him out of the building. No, they might be stupid, but they're not that stupid. Like one team called, we'll give you a 5th round pick, but if you don't say yes right this second, we won't do it anymore. No. Now you can be mad at the Cowboys for not replacing Amari Cooper. You can be mad at them for accepting a trade for him at that value. You can't pretend that they're stupid heads and he was worth way more. Woosah. I had a yoga sculpt class a couple hours. Had to work out some of these demons for y'all. Let me handle it for you. I get it. Thanks to my friends at Bet Online. Thanks to you guys for hanging out with me. All right. Well, that's what happens. No one's mad about Cooper more than we are about this O-line. That's fair. I think people are just in a dark place right now about the Cowboys. I'm mad because Eric Fisher for left guard and George Pickens for wide receiver would be nice. Oh, George Pickens. Sky Moore. Are you disappointed or have some optimism by Tolbert to preseason? I try not to put too much into preseason, but Jalen Tolbert I was underwhelmed with compared to his college tape. He's still going to have a bunch of opportunities, and I don't want to pretend that he's going to fail just because he didn't have a great explosive preseason. But I was hoping to see more from Jalen Tolbert in the preseason. Why not put Josh Ball on practice squad instead from Bloodslinger? I don't know, just to have a decent number of people. Maybe they thought he would get sniped. And they just don't have, if something weird happened and somebody liked Josh Ball and took him, then they'd only have like 7 offensive linemen, and that's just such a tiny number. They just don't even have the bodies, much less the talent on the offensive line. And so there's that. All right, team, I'm going to take off. I don't know what I'm going to go do, but I'm going to go do something for a couple hours. I might go make hamburger helper. But you guys have a wonderful day. I love you. Thanks for hanging out. And this new camera angle I chose just because I accidentally had the camera sitting that way when I sat down. So remember, you have no idea what anyone is going through. So be cool to everyone. I love you.